Welcome back everyone to our career mode series of SRX the game. And in today's video we're headed to Kenyon County, 1/3 mile track, low banking. This ought to be a lot of fun. Unfortunately, you notice the first place prize money, $8,500. So another lower payout. We need some higher payouts because right now we're not finishing in the top 5 or top 10. So we're having to deal with what we can get, and we need as much as possible. In the top right hand corner, $14,857 in the bank account. And just as a reminder, our next upgrade will be the suspension, and we need $19,795. So we'll call it $5,000 away from making that happen. But while we're on the garage screen, let's go ahead and do our repair work. Let's go ahead and repair all. Again, not that we had to, but I like to keep things as fresh as possible. So we're sitting in 36th place right now in the overall standings, which is really good because it seems like we've been finishing worse than 40th pretty much every race, with only a couple of exceptions. But here at Kenyon County, again, 3rd mile, a little bit longer track. The engine horsepower is going to be of the utmost importance. So we're going to try to make up for what we don't have there with some extra tire grip. Practice and qualifying in the books, and things have gone extremely well. Practice, we definitely met the goal time. 14:28 was the goal. We came in at a 14:06, and then you can see qualifying was even better than that. I only ran 1 lap of practice, came back in. My intent was to make a change to the setup. Now, this is the exact same setup I was using in the last video at Grant Park. I wanted to make a change, go back out, run another couple of practice laps. Unfortunately, I forgot the game. Whenever you meet the goal time, the game changes the controls. So I ended up accidentally moving forward into qualifying. So I went ahead, just tried out the change in qualifying, and yeah, it definitely worked pretty good. Not surprisingly that it would work that well, but I just didn't want to do it in qualifying. So here we are. We are in heat number 2, starting at the very back, but I'm excited to get going. That's right, heat number 2, top 5, advanced to the A main. Now the setup change that I made, it definitely helped the rotation and obviously the speed of the car, but I'm a little worried it might be a little too loose for traffic. So we're about to find out if that's the case. If it is, then I'll make an adjustment before we get into the alphabet soup of main events, but we'll see. Trying to see what kind of control I have over the car right now, especially when I run an unconventional line, hugging this bottom, versus when I get a more traditional line where I can swing out on the straightaways. Right now it's definitely pretty loose. Again, it can be very fast. Ouch. Okay, that was nice. Appreciate that. Thank you, car. That's one way of passing somebody, I guess. Just ram them out of the way. Let's see. Yep, I wanted to cut it right down to the bottom, and right now I got to tell you, I'm not too worried about getting into that car because he just ran us over to get by. So if I have to run him over to get back by him, I'm not terribly worried about doing that. So I do not like contact with other cars because that's not how you pass somebody. But if they're going to try to run us over, I will not back down from the contact. We have seen it really cost us where somebody has hit us and the damage didn't do us any favors with the performance of our car. But, I mean, right here in the heat race, we're already running at the back. So he's made it quite easy for me to make a decision. Unfortunately, for me, I can't get to him. This guy's fast enough that I cannot get to him. And we got the leaders coming through, so I'm just going to back out of this and let these guys go. Give them the bottom. Okay, not too bad. Again, we were able to keep up in the heat race. That is another step forward. Now you notice we're going straight into the B main instead of the D main, or even sometimes, as we've seen, the E main. And that's just simply because each event has a different number of cars. So where we're headed now, the B main starting 14th.
The top 5 finishers advance to the A main.
That's right, top 5 advance into the main event. So here in the B main, we're starting 14th, and of course we're on the outside because we always are. So we're going to try to get to, I mean, that's weird. Even at the start, these guys are pummeling me just getting to turn 1. The straight line speed these guys are showing is quite nice. Can't wait until we have that. All right, I did make one change from the heat race on the setup, and that was to tighten it up a little bit. The setup was great when alone on the track or running laps by myself, but of course here in the main event I thought it would be a little bit too loose. So I backed off just a little bit. I didn't want to tighten it up too much. So we're going to experiment with this thing. We're going to see what we can do here. Trying really hard to dig on this inside and get enough momentum that we can clear some of these guys. We got 20 laps here in this main event. And you can see I've got to leave room for this guy on the outside. I do not want to run him out of room, because right now this is some very fun racing. Unfortunately, we're not really moving forward, but nobody's really pulling away from us either. And that makes it a lot of fun. Trying to get right down by these big tires in the middle of the tractor tires. Of course, you don't want to hit them, but you want to get right down to them if you can. And right now, I've a few times come really close, but so far so good. Alright, so things are starting to spread out a little bit now. So I can run a little bit more of a traditional line. It's always hard for me to tell when I'm clear to do that and when there's somebody to my outside. But right now I believe we're clear. Oh, never mind. We've made up more ground on that guy than I thought. Alright, just past halfway here in the B main. So our digging on the bottom here is working. Ooh, I saw some contact there in the mirror. So a couple of guys must have gotten into it. Yeah, right now we're just sliding all over the place. And that's why I wanted to tighten it up a little bit. Looks like I could have used a little bit of additional tightening, but to be fair, at this point I'm kind of just slinging it into the corner just to see what we can do. Again, this is testing for me. I don't run very many of any laps in practice, so we're going to test it out and see what we got. You got to find that edge, and then in order to find the edge, you got to step over it. But yeah, right now you can see, I mean, the car rotates very nicely. We're sitting here in 10th position in the B main. I cannot be sad about that. As much as I want to be in the top 5 and get into that A main, nothing like pressing your luck to the max, because I was extremely close to hitting those tractor tires right there. And I mean extremely close. So close it probably scared the track workers. They were probably thinking, that's not, you're not supposed to get that close. But this is the track where we're really losing is the grip through the corner.
The top 10 is so slow.
We pick up that next upgrade to give us a little bit more grip in the corners. We can really do something at this track. The straightaway speed is definitely hurting us, but not as much as I feel like the grip in the corner. So again, this just gets me more and more excited for that next upgrade, and we are getting much closer to it. All right, so we finished 10th here in the B main. Let's go ahead and finish it off. Again, very excited. 30th position. I like it. I like it quite a bit. That should have also given us our goal for the sponsor as well. So 30th position, we will definitely take that. Let's move on to the race earnings. Again, race purse a little bit lower at this event, so we come home with $6,697. But overall, you see there we got $240 through the sponsor goals. That's meeting the lap time goals in practice and qualifying. That's where that money comes from. So we'll take it and we'll move on to the next one. That's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and stick around for more SRX, the game.